葉繰り返し寝ても全てもやまない、そっけない君の笑顔が恋しくて、星に願うのまた会えるよね。
Hello and welcome back to the stream. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well today. Wednesday's brief interlude of nice sunny weather was unfortunately a deception, and today we're back to dreary, wet, old misery. It was too early to celebrate. We're only nearing the end of February. There's still like a month or two of unfortunate spring weather to go before we hit anything resembling summer. Assuming summer even ends up being warm this year, who knows? It might not. I should stop getting myself hopeful anytime the sun comes out for a minute and just turn the damn heating on. Very unfortunate. Took a little time yesterday to shield myself from the dreariness by playing some Civilization. Of all the people playing Civ 7, posting all of their reviews and opinions and first looks on YouTube, I've been interested to get in this series. I basically skipped Civ 6. I think I played that game once, twice, ever, and then recently dipped back into it again and just didn't quite... I don't know what it is about it. The game seems fine, but maybe it's just a lack of familiarity. When I went back to Civ 5 after so long of not playing it, it felt far nicer to play, it felt far more familiar. So I went and did a quick campaign in that game, which was enjoyable. You know, it's very nice revisiting a game that you haven't played in a long time and finding that, yeah, it's not perfect, it never was, but actually it is as good as you remember it being, yeah? So often nostalgia can lead you to overestimate how good something actually was back then. So it's nice to go back and see, yeah, that game was in fact really good. I might even go back and see about playing some Civ 4 again, because it has been a long time since I last played that game, and I have fond memories of it. There is actually a Civ-like game called Warlock 2 that I was looking at trying out. Have to wait for it to go on sale first, of course, but I saw a YouTube video recently of someone doing some shenanigans in that game, you know, like a Spiffing Brit style, perfectly balanced gameplay video. That was very fun, and Fantasy Civ does sound interesting. I might even go and check out Beyond Earth again and see if it was as bad as I remember it being, because I did play that game and I remember being about as unimpressed as absolutely everybody else was. Now, a lot of other people talked about how that game didn't hit the mark for them because it's not historical, and they really failed to bring in the good world building, like a good lore foundation for people to care about who they were playing as opposed to the game it's compared to oh so heavily, which is Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, where people love the factions from that game. Now, I'm never particularly attached to who exactly I'm playing in the game of Civ. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even tell you what civilization I played at in the campaign I literally finished yesterday. It's whoever gets to make terrace farms and lets you move across like hill terrain without a movement penalty. That's all I remember. I don't know what civilization I was actually playing, because it really doesn't matter. I picked them because the move ability was convenient for really early scouting. That's literally it. That's the whole reason I took that Civ. And then in actual play I went for a science victory, which in hindsight was a waste of time, because in the early game I really needed some time to get used to Civ again. Once I was used to it, in the late game I realized I should have turned the difficulty up, even if I was coming back after a long break, because if I just gone military I could have rolled over the whole world long before I finally managed to research the last few things and get the science victory. Would have saved myself a lot of turns, but it was still enjoyable, it was still worth doing. I think if you play a game and after you're done you look back and go, if I'd optimized this and this I wouldn't have had to play for so long, then maybe that's not a game you actually wanted to be playing in the first place, right? Like, if you're looking at the game and thinking, damn, that was a waste of time, then do something better with your time, right? Like one of my all-time favorite games, Europa Universalis 4, which I've put many hours into. If I'm playing a campaign of that and something goes wrong, forcing me to restart. Speaking of restart, I'm going to restart my tracking app. My eyes are drifting off to the side. If something goes wrong there, forcing me to restart, I'm just playing more Civ. Like, I enjoy playing Civ, I liked what I was playing before, I will like what I'm doing afterwards. Even on a loss, it's not a waste of time. And that really should be the experience for all games. There's so much out there, and so many free games even. Like for me, as someone who doesn't buy things on release because I'm not paying full price for a game, there's so many free things out there that you can play that you shouldn't settle for something that isn't providing you proper enjoyment. But I think that's enough stream intro yapping. So let me switch on over to my Google Doc. Maybe zoom in one more. It's so hard to find the balance between having enough room on screen for me to actually see everything I'm writing, and also zooming in as much as possible over on Streamlabs. I did consider I should probably make a special second window capture specifically for writing only, so that I can make it bigger on the screen without it screwing stuff up for every other window capture. It would just mean that I have to remember to change capture, maybe set up a hotkey when I want to open another tab and show something else, because then whatever else I have open will be zoomed in incorrectly. Oh, the joys of being a streamer. I want to save up to get a Stream Deck, an Elgato Stream Deck, because I think having those extra buttons and hotkeys available to me instead of having to set up macros on my keyboard to remember would be really useful, especially as a VTuber, and with us closing in on that 50 followers, so I might be able to get channel points soon-ish, and then start setting up some redeems, which would be very fun. Having a Stream Deck so I can do stuff on screen with that would be very useful. For now, today's, I call it a thought experiment. Today's writing exercise, world building exercise, is all about power systems. And I guess specifically magic systems. I try to talk about power systems in general because the ideas apply more generally, but being realistic, 99% of the time we are talking about magic systems specifically and not anything else. No superhero powers or sci-fi things or whatever. They're good examples, but the discussion in system building is almost always about magic systems. Now, after the last two streams earlier in the week, I did spend some time thinking about it, and thinking about how I do magic in my own world-building projects and stuff like that. And I came to a slight realization that out of the 3 types I identified, everybody gets a unique power, everyone uses the same power, and everyone draws from the same source, but it's varied. I've pretty much never done the everyone shares a power. My writing heavily leans towards magic can do whatever, and I'm just going to show a few characters doing their own specific thing with magic. Every now and then, I go to the everyone gets a specific power, but really that's just an outgrowth of my approach to how I handle general magic systems. Because even in my general magic systems, I really like having characters have unique stuff going on, but I'll specialize them pretty heavily, and if there's multiple characters doing similar things, they're probably just background characters, not main characters. Which means that essentially, I'm always doing only one of the 3 types. So I figured today I would spend a little time thinking about a magic system where the powers are shared. Everyone's doing the same thing. And not just everyone's doing a similar thing, but like exactly the same powers between everyone, probably even to the same level of strength? I'm not sure. I don't like the idea of that, but I think I need to at least entertain the thought so that I can work with it properly and see why I do and don't like that, and what I might be able to do about it. So what I thought I would do on stream is just start listing out powers and see what I like, what I don't like, and what I might give to a bunch of people in a setting. So just for some examples, some starting points, we have of course the ever beloved famous Allomancy from the Brandon Sanderson books. This one and a few of the ones I like, I think, have a thing in common where it's one ability but a handful of sub-abilities. So a handful of metals with different effects. Then I would say bending from Avatar. 4 elements, and each bender gets 1. Then this one's not really an example of one of the systems where everyone shares the power because it's only a couple of people, but when thinking about it, what popped to my mind was the I don't actually know what the ability is called in the books, but from Inkheart, reading things into and out of books. That's a fairly interesting one. Very good book series. One I might actually reread sometime. It has been a long time since I last read the Inkheart books. And there's many, many others, but these are just a couple of examples. Immediately looking at it, it's a small sample size, but immediately looking at it, I'm thinking about the fact that these two, considered widely amongst sort of fantasy world builders and content creators and people who, you know, care and talk about this kind of stuff, some of the best systems out there, they're fairly narrow, but they have variation. So a small power set instead of a singular power. I suppose part of that will derive from the fact that even the most narrow power, you can probably find different niche ways to apply it. So then you have to kind of consider, well, am I really treating this as a singular power if it's being used in such a way? Then let's just start listing things, I guess. Teleportation, time travel, super speed. These ones pop to my mind because they're the big ones to be careful of when you're including them in your world because of what they can do and how they can mess things up. Let's add to the list a demon from Link. Companion creature from his Dark Materials. Add that to the list. A summon. This is a creature you can pull up. Yeah, elemental abilities. What else? There's a really good movie where a certain subset of people get teleportation powers called Jumper. Well, really good. I enjoyed watching it. It's not doing anything particularly impressive, but I liked it for what it was. And the way it handled the teleportation. I should rewatch that as well, actually. The entire struggle between going back and watching stuff that you know is good and wanting to read all the new stuff because there's so much coming out at all times. Flight, immortality. What else? clairvoyance, both future sight and scrying. Yeah, clairvoyance, precognition, postcognition is also one that sometimes shows up. Usually someone's doing something very specific with their powers if they're including postcognition. More common I think in fantasy because you get like time magic where they turn back time locally to look into the past. A bit less common otherwise. I think one of the characters in the Index slash Resogun, what's it called, the Reldex universe has that ability, like the what is it? The one with the mind powers has some kind of ability to like read moisture imprints off of objects in order to tell what happened there in the past, something like that. That series gets very technical with its stuff in a kind of silly way, but makes it almost more believable. Like you hear some of the explanations for how a certain Esper power works, and you can't help but think, this is, like, the implications of this are absurd, and this is not at all how real-life science works, but you've put out such a convincing argument for why it should function like this, I'm inclined to let it pass, even if it's ridiculous. I've not watched the show myself, but I have seen various clips, and I think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure functions of a similar vibe, where it's just like, no, what you've just said was patently ridiculous, but you are treating it so seriously, you're taking it to all its logical conclusions that I'm willing to let you get away with it. Like, what was the one meme I saw? Someone's getting shot and they're like, it's no use, I've coated myself in bullet-resistant liquid with absolutely no explanation where it came from or how it works or why anything about that is supposed to make sense. But you're just like, yeah, you know what, this character likes to do prep work, we'll take it. What else? Like, land powers, it's very vague, but nature abilities tend to be. Animal communication. Breathing underwater is one as well. Night vision. Let me take a sip. Some of them are so much narrower than others. Oh, I haven't actually put super strength on here yet. Should have been one of the first ones alongside flight. Like, you ask people, oh, what do you want to be? Well, if you could have any power, then it's like, yeah, teleporting, immortality, flight, super strength. Those are the classics. The whole Superman package. Laser beams, add that to the list. What else? What else? None of them, at a first glance, like, these are all cool powers, but if I were going to pick just one thing that people in a world can do, I'm not sure which of these I would go with. Especially because some of the ones that I would be inclined to are, you know, the cooler ones, which have already been done. Like teleportation, I could see that working. I've seen that movie, it's called Jumper. I don't need to do it again myself. Necromancy, that one's really broad usually. Telekinesis and telepathy. What else? A danger sense. That's a nice one. Okay, instead of listing, I could probably go to like TV tropes or something. I'm pretty sure there's like a superpowers wiki as well for people who like power scaling and who would win discussions. Before I keep listing out more stuff, what am I seeing looking at this list so far in regards to why I and my world building don't usually do everyone gets the same power worlds. I do magic can do whatever and everyone gets unique power worlds. What is it about these? I mean, some of them are just not that interesting. Just not that interesting alone. So let's put night vision in here. It's just not terribly fascinating. People can see in the dark better. Okay. Let's put me, like, how to phrase this? Too much even on its own? Without very careful managing of what exactly can and can't be done and how it can be done. Immortality, I think, probably is an issue. Super speed? If everyone is super fast, then they're all just going the same speed. Time travel is just messy unless you're building around it inherently, which I guess you would be in a world like this. Brings complications I don't want to deal with. I do like immortality though, so if I labeled it that, maybe this isn't the right spot for it. Yeah, let's take immortality back off here. What else? Danger sense, you know, like the Spider-Man Spidey sense. Breathing underwater, there's not a whole lot going on there. What does it really add? If it's just this on its own, what does flight really do for a story? Like, what are you put that in your world building, a bunch of people or just everyone in general can fly. Where are you going from there, right? Like, even, you know, in Mistborn, the not quite flight there probably is not quite flight, because imagine if he had just gone, oh yeah, people are able to fly if they burn this particular metal. That's not interesting. Certainly not interesting enough compared to all of the other abilities and how in particular they work with their restrictions and caveats and stuff like that. Healing, it would depend on the level of healing, how strong it is. Maybe another character of I won't be able to hold myself back from making it too powerful. Oops, that's an @ sign. And what was I looking at? Summons. Yeah. Summons, in my mind, are just a shortcut I could implement to making a system where magic can do anything. If I think to myself like, oh yeah, every person has some creature attached to them, the first thing I'm thinking is, what kind of abilities can I give those creatures? And then justify it as, well, the people can't do these things. Yeah. What category would teleportation go in? I mean, teleportation, probably one of the ones that I would actually think could be interesting. Interesting if used right. It could certainly be used wrong. There we go. Teleportation. That's a good one, I think. Telepathy. If it's only telepathy, then people can already talk to each other. Now you can talk quietly? Like, I don't know. pass a note between each other, something like that. I'm gonna take a drink. Yeah, telepathy, we were already doing this. Telekinesis. I think telekinesis just on the basis of how cool it is to start with. Seeing someone just fling stuff around with their mind and how convenient it is. There's like telekinesis is a power that if it's the only one in your setting, works on so many levels, so many scales. If it's just a small ability and you can push and pull small things a little compared to you can lift entire buildings, either way, still really interesting. Telekinesis I think is a very interesting one. Necromancy depends on how broad it is. Like bringing back the dead, reanimating the dead. Is it like full school, very pleasant, pulling shadows out of things necromancy? Is it Old Kingdom series necromancy, where like the dead have to drain powers, drain life from the living to maintain themselves, stuff like that? Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance probably fits in here, just because it's like, as an ability, it is purely the characters want information, and they're now going to use their plot point ability to get information and remove any sort of investigating or process from the equation entirely. Like if your powers are just clairvoyance and nothing else, then short of there being huge costs or caveats or conditions or whatever, it's really just... We could have had another character come in and just give the main characters this information and it would have had the same effect. What's the point of it? Doesn't go into what does it really add, because it is stuff that you can't... flight, you can't really do otherwise anyway. I feel like it fits better here than it does here, just based on the exact way in which it doesn't quite work for me. Laser beams as just a broad shorthand for energy abilities that don't fit under elemental, but you're not using fire or electricity or something natural, you're shooting light beams. There are no natural visible laser beams like there are in fiction. You can shoot a laser at something, you won't see anything, just your target will, you know, suddenly set on fire. I think that's fairly interesting. If you're careful about it, if you manage exactly how strong you make them, how versatile they are, you know, can you curve the beam, can you change its direction, how much damage does it do, what happens if two beams clash, that kind of thing. Speaking of two beams clashing, the game, what's it called? Magicka? Yeah, Magicka. Loved this game. Really, really fun to play. Fantastic multiplayer experience. Magicka, despite being a magic setting, with, you know, in theory, wizards being able to do anything, gameplay-wise, you had a spell book of combinations you could put in, and then you would construct your own spells out of a limited set of combinable elements. A limited set of combinable elements. Finite options. Elemental abilities are as popular as they are for a reason. It's because they're good and versatile. Animal communication. When I think animal communication, I'm thinking of like three things off the top of my head. I'm thinking of that one character from Hero Academia, one of the class members who can speak with animals. I'm thinking of Aquaman and his ability to speak with sea creatures. And I'm thinking of the novel, or is it a novel? How long was that? I think it's a short story or a novella. Sand Kings by George R.R. Martin. And the first two are a world apart from the third one in terms of how much impact they would have. Animal communication, or like Taylor's ability from Worm. Oh. I think if I made it a sensible level of strength, it wouldn't be that cool or interesting, and I wouldn't want to include it. If I made it strong enough to be useful, or strong enough for me to find it interesting, it would be too strong. It would dominate the entire narrative, which is not necessarily a bad thing. A power system should be a significant part of your world if you're bothering to include it, but it can't be the only thing, and I think animal communication, any way I do that I find interesting, is going to be way over the top. Super strength. If everybody's super strong, then no one is. If just a few people are... I think super strength goes into just not as interesting on its own. Same way... Immortality is something I love including in lots of stories for lots of reasons, but not as the only thing. If it's with other stuff, sure, as the only thing. Post-cognition goes over here for the same reasons clairvoyance does. Plant powers. Plant powers I think I could do more with. I think plant powers are, by the nature of plants, more limited than animal communication, but still has a lot of potential. It's one of those powers that I think gets more or less interesting and more or less powerful depending on how hard your science is. If you're going full on like, oh, I'm going to warp these, like genetically modify these plants to produce certain compounds and break down stuff and stuff like that, way too strong. If you're just going like, oh, I can point at a bush and like the branches move and it will grow real quickly, much more reasonable. I've always felt like those kind of modification powers are some that you cannot do in a hard world building, hard magic, hard science setting, because it's just too powerful. With something we didn't know before, like a century ago, if you told someone, oh, we can modify this plant to create certain compounds, and it would have been like, oh cool, you can make, I don't know, painkillers on demand instead of having to go out and harvest and process a natural plant. Now in the modern day that we actually understand so much more about biology and how life works, you tell someone like, oh, you can edit the DNA on this thing, and you understand what the results will be and can make it do whatever. That's... within a week, you have conquered the entire world. You are growing spaceship plants and taking over the solar system before the year is out. Absolutely not allowed. But a more limited set has potential, if we're going for a softer magic system. And then... necromancy. Necromancy. It's just so broad in what it means. Necromancy is more of a school of magic than a particular magical ability. So let's have raising... Raising the Dead and really misspelled Resurrection. There we go. Raising the Dead and Resurrection are two separate things. Resurrection is in here with the problematic kids, and Raising the Dead, zombies. Make sure that doesn't get overlapped with Resurrection. Creating undead. There we go. Interesting you've used right. Okay. So if you're just not that interesting alone powers, in theory the obvious solution to that is to not use them on their own, right? Combine them with something else, string a few of them together to make a power package, which seems to be what a lot of the really good settings do anyway. Oh, pardon me. I might need to go turn the heating on because the chill always makes me yawn a little, which is not good. Brings complications. Yeah, like, I mean, super speed is cool though. Let's take out this because potentially any of these are viable. Brings complications. I should rename this as well to like doesn't work for me personally. Really tempting for me personally. Farmers, companions, and animal communication. Let's put this into brings complications. And a summon / companion. Maybe it does go into if used right, and the implication there is simply that using it right means not making it horrifically overpowered. I was hoping that looking at a few powers and thinking about them, categorizing them, would give me a spark of inspiration, but really, nothing here is particularly calling to me. I'm not looking at any of this and going, oh yeah, I should totally write something where people can do XYZ thing. So why is that? What? Because it's not like I'm against restricting a character, right? Like, I'm perfectly willing to write a character who only has one particular ability and they have a narrow scope. Excuse me. And they have a narrow scope of what exactly they're capable of. That's not the issue here. And yet I'm not willing to restrict the world as a whole. It might just be a question of personal taste to a certain extent, because I really enjoy really broad, everything goes, kitchen sink world building. But I like to include a little bit of everything in my worlds. And I think it really adds to them. I mean, there's a video I did about fantasy biomes and terrain and stuff like that, which I thought was really interesting, because I love that kind of stuff. I love putting all manner of weird, wacky, interesting stuff in the world just for the sake of it being there, because I think it's cool. And I think that sense of coolness and scale and magic, I suppose, wonder almost, makes a setting more interesting and more appealing to imagine stuff in. And in the same way, I think a broad swathe of magical abilities is also interesting. But it's not good for this writing exercise of restraint and creativity, right? As always, the thing people like to say is that, what's the word? Not restraint, constrictions? Restrictions? Something breeds creativity, and it's either restrictions or some synonym thereof. And I think there's definitely something to be said for that. But if you give someone a prompt of like, oh, the power you design has to fit within this scope, then they're going to come up with a lot of very interesting interpretations of what that could mean and what could fit under that umbrella. And I want to do a similar thing, I'm just not sure what with. But I just need to come up with some more powers to potentially add in here. To label this section. Yeah. Descends, breathing underwater. Super speed. You get creatures that come with their own little power packages. Right, like werewolves being able to shift form, but that's not like the only thing they can do. They're also usually way stronger, or if they take on a wolf form, they're bigger than regular wolves and all that kind of stuff. But it's never just, oh, this is a person who can turn into a wolf. Vampires start off just drinking blood. They're just undead that drain blood to survive, and then it goes from there. What else can they do? Well, they've got a whole bunch of supernatural restrictions, like the sunlight and the, you know, coming in uninvited, or for undead in general, crossing a stream of moving water. And then those restrictions come with benefits as well, to balance out the downside. So now they get super speed and transforming into bats, and you know, being able to sense or hear heartbeats through the walls and stuff like that. Packages of different powers. In fact, if I really stop and think about it, do I know of any popular fictional setting where everyone who has a superpower only has the one superpower that everyone else has, and it's a really specific, limited one? Like, obviously, yes, there are some, and there are even good ones, like a example from earlier, Jumper, that I keep coming back to. But that was a movie, that's a one-off. The focus in that was never the power itself, it was the story being told with the character who had the power and the characters around them. From a storytelling, this needs to serve one novel kind of perspective. A lot of these are a lot more viable. From a world building, I want to build an interesting place that people can imagine themselves inside perspective, which is the type of world building that I prefer. Not the only type, not the best or worst type, just the one that I like. One singular restrictive power? I mean, glancing over at my bookshelves again. Yeah, all of these stories, people are able to do a bunch of stuff in. Yeah, I think there's not one thing on my shelves here where there's only one specific ability, and that's the ability everyone has. Plenty of books here where the main character only has their one thing that they're able to do, but then there's other characters who make up for that with their own unique abilities. It's never just, this is what's done and nothing else. Okay, so a power package. Some types of abilities come with that kind of almost built in, right? Like, elemental abilities. If you can manipulate water, that kind of comes with a whole bunch of stuff in. You basically have telekinesis if you can make a strand of water reach out to something and grab it for you. Underwater breathing, well, you just form a bubble around yourself and bring the air with you. You know, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the expanded powers like you do have in Avatar, with waterbenders being able to make ice and then heal, firebenders bending lightning, stuff like that. I maybe could make an elemental magic setting. Could be interesting. I've had similar ideas along those lines in the past. If you're building a power package, I mean that, the considerations that come into play for building a power package are kind of the same ones that come into play for general advice in terms of designing a magic system. You need to be careful what you do, how strong it is, how it impacts your world, think about some of the implications of those things. there's no real hard and fast rules for that, and it will vary a lot depending on what kind of setting you're building and what you want to do with it. I think the unfortunate conclusion I'm going to have to come to at the end of this little exercise is that there's a good reason I've never built a world like this, and it's because it just doesn't really appeal to me. It's not the type of thing that I usually go for. Interesting, but unfortunate. I might spend some time off stream just trying to build a magic system like this. Or I could spend some time now, but I've not got any ideas off the top of my head. No, I think on a Friday evening I don't want to force myself to do something when I'm not coming up with any ideas. Yeah. When you've got a deadline coming up, then yeah, you just do it because you have to, but when you're doing it for the joy of it, don't force yourself, right? In which case, anything else I want to do writing-wise, or should I maybe move on to some light gaming to round out the evening? I mean, there's always more world-building projects we can do. I was thinking recently about brainstorming some organizations like governments and stuff for a fantasy setting. Or just figuring out what I might want to include in one. There was a while ago what I was doing in Obsidian Notes, but I kind of moved on from. Could come back to that. Let me open up Obsidian Notes and check what I had going on in there. Right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different settings here, 5 different settings here that I was playing around with. This is the one I was doing on stream. Okay, it's not visible on the screen right now because I'd have to change the source. This was an interesting one, though maybe a little limited. I feel like I figured out a lot about writing and how I want to do it since I first started with this, and looking back at it now, I am questioning some of the choices I made here. Yeah, some of this could have been done better. Certainly. I'll want to come back to something like this after I've had some time to plan and think about it properly. So for now, let's move me back on over here. Let's close this, and I shall pull up Steam, and we'll play maybe some Balatro? Maybe some Holocure could be nice as well. Maybe like 2 rounds-ish of Holocure. I've been watching people play, what's it called, Vampire Survivors recently, and it's been really interesting to see the sheer depth of that game, the amount of nonsense you can encounter, and things you can unlock and learn about in that game. Oh yeah, Steam keeps trying to advertise Avowed to me. So I think Critical Role did a one-shot in the world of that game. It looks fairly interesting. I'll need to check sometime if it's something that I want to play myself. Okay, so I've got Holocure here. Yeah, I've got Balatro, I've got Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. What else? Anything I haven't played on stream yet that I might pull up to try out? Probably not EU4 right now. As much as I love that game, it's a bit much to just hop into casually, right? That's a game that asks for a slightly larger time commitment than a lot of others. So not ideal. They were giving it away for free recently, because of I think like the 10-year anniversary or something wild like that. So I do have Honey Pop. Lots of VTubers have been playing Honey Pop a little over the last few weeks or so. That's been quite funny. YouTube started recommending me a bunch of clips from like years ago when people were first playing that game that have been quite fun to look back on and almost reminisce about just how far people have come since then. Just how different the online landscape is now than it was at the time. But also nice to see that a lot of those people are still around, you know? Still a lot of the same names going along, streaming, having a good time. Does give me some amount of hope. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna launch Holocure. Okay, I'm first going to update Holocure. That should hopefully only take a second. I've got pretty good internet here. Yeah, there we go. Only took a moment. Alright, Holocure. Let me turn off the music over here. Let me change our category to Holocure. What to do? Hide that. Okay. There we go. Holocure time. We unlocked some characters last time we played. I think we played a bunch of Mume and some Fauna. Okay, let's go for Pekora. Why not? Roll slows do 1000% damage to all targets. If a jackpot is rolled, all targets are instantly defeated and turned into holocoins. Amount is affected by skill damage. Fires a missile in front. Alright. Oh, I couldn't clear this one last time because I simply did not have the damage output. But let's... actually, let's just try it again. Why not? Let me remind myself of the controls. Shift for the special ability. Spaced. Okay. Let's get into it. A bit of Holocure. I should buy Vampire Survivors as well sometime. I probably said the same thing last time I played this, but it would make sense to try out the original so that we can get a better idea of where the inspirations came from. Take this early. Keep us in the fight well. Alright. Pyromaniac. When defeating a target, there is a 7% chance of... a 7% chance it will trigger an explosion. Yes. There's been some fun clips of the new HoloLive Minecraft server and Pekora building some ridiculous super redstone farm. I think she just built an LA farm, and then having people who are new to Minecraft come in and be like, what on earth is all this? This is ridiculous. I've just been farming by hand. Some of the people in HoloLive are very good at Minecraft. Like, very, very good. Lucky Bunny. All weapon and skills have a 5% chance to gain 10% size. Gain stacks of luck that is equal to half of current crit. Luck increases the success chance of all skills and drop rates. Ooh. Okay. I do like to watch a bit of Minecraft content here and there. I'm subscribed to a handful of the hermits from Hermitcraft. And you kind of have to be subscribed to a handful because it's not like any of them have a particularly steady upload schedule. You just kind of hope that there'll be a video in a given month. But I don't blame them considering the sheer amount of time some of those big projects take. I mean, they are building absolutely huge things. But it does mean that if you're looking for regular content, you're maybe looking in the wrong place with Hermitcraft, unless you want to watch a bunch of them. Which, frankly, I recommend. Because they are pretty good and they make a bunch of very good content. I think the first time I ever The first time I ever heard about Hermitcraft, it was because another Minecraft YouTuber I watch happened to be in one season of a live series, which I hadn't watched until then, but I thought, oh, you know what, I might as well check this out. And then I saw a bunch of the other people in there and how funny they were, and decided to subscribe to them as well. Then saw their stuff on Hermitcraft, and then saw a bunch of the hermits in there, and decided to subscribe to them as well. Which is usually the way, right? You find one content creator who does something cool that you like, and then from there, you just start watching more and more people that are in their general sphere, and then people in those people's spheres. It's always funny to see when two different circles overlap, right? Like people that you both watched but would never have associated together suddenly playing together. It's been very funny to watch that with Bricky and his move into interacting with so many VTubers when before he's been historically so anime. I don't want anything to do with any anime stuff. Right, grab that. Every 15 seconds, roll a slot. If successful, scatter holocoins, and picking up holocoins heal 1 HP. Again, a stacking buff that increases attack by 2% and crit by 1%, and stacks for 10 seconds. The amount of coins dropped is affected by skill damage. I kind of want to take this first. Like, this is gonna come up again, it's one of Pakura's skills. But the spider cooking we might not see for a long time again. Lava bucket is also often nice to have. We'll grab that. Oh, here's another one of the green circle guys. I still do not know if that guy heals me or them or everyone. I don't seem to be killing him, so I have to assume... Oh, there he goes. Okay, I was about to say I don't seem to be killing him, so I have to assume that he's on my side, but then he went and died. I'm still frankly unsure if that guy is healing the enemies or not. Considering the amount of work it took to end up not being able to kill any of the bosses, I want to say that probably he's healing everybody, that's why the area is green. Because green, you know, in a video game denotes this is safe and good for you. I wouldn't expect something green to only help them and not me. But if it's healing the bosses faster than I can damage them, then that is catastrophic. I don't know what characters are supposed to... Oh dear, that was kind of bad. We took a lot of damage there. I don't know what characters are supposed to deal the most damage of their own. Because yeah, obviously everyone gets different abilities, but we're all picking up the same weapons, which aren't getting usually modified all that much by any of the individual character skills, so there shouldn't be an absolutely vast amount of difference between how much damage anyone's doing. At least not until like the very late game when you've got all your builds set up and all the small advantages that one character might have over another start to compound. I should probably just look it up. I'm sure there's a tier list somewhere. It might be a bit difficult for a game like this because obviously people are going to want to insist that their Oshi is powerful and viable no matter what. No one's gonna sit there and go, oh yeah, actually my favorite VTuber, it just isn't that good in the game, you shouldn't play them. They're gonna tell you, oh yeah, you just need to do this and this and this, and then they'll be really strong. No matter how true that statement might or might not be. I kind of want to take a quick sip of drink, but I can't really stop right now. Next time we level up. Defeat, there we go. Refreshing. I can't hear it that well underneath the music, but I do feel like the music underneath the sound effects, but I do feel like the music in this game is also pretty good. What does it banish to? Increase max HP by 10. After being hit, heal 10% every 3 seconds until 80% of the damage taken is recovered. Sure, why not? More healing doesn't hurt. Was it Orna's the character that is all about raising your max health a whole bunch? Damage. I think the luck stacks might help us with our crit rate, so maybe not. Especially when they're still charging, increase crit by 15%, also increase damage of all skill attacks by 20%. I use this and just use our skill very often? Ah, no jackpot. I should have saved it a second and then used it once the boss was there. I want to kill... If he's healing the boss, I need to kill this guy before I do anything else. Unfortunately, I am getting absolutely mobbed over here. Okay, I think we got him. I don't see the circle anymore. Now we can hopefully kill this thing. I don't know whose fan that is supposed to be. And as a matter of fact, who are the bats from? Choco, maybe? Mel? Not sure. 5% HP every second till 1 HP remains by gained 40% attack. 5% every second. That's quick. I don't think we can out-heal that as it stands now. I'm going to be using this a lot. I want to get as much bonus out of it as possible. But let's get to the next level of that. I think if we had more health, if we had stronger health regen, I would be very tempted to take that. Or if we had the body pillow leveled up a whole bunch, so we had a nice shield. But we do not have that, and I'm not willing to risk it. Okay, let's just walk through there. Oh, yes, yes. Explosions and doom. So you guys are still here. Increase area. I want the knockback on the spider cooking from the high level. Just walk through there. There's some food, so we get back healed up. Oh, our thing is active. Nice. Oh, look at all that money. Oh, it's going to be a bit of work picking all this up. Every 15 seconds or slot, if successful, scatter all the coins and picking up all coins, heal 1 HP and gain a stacking buff. Yes. Let's do that. You see that? That looks familiar. That makes me think I've played Pecora before, but then I don't remember any of the other stuff, so surely I haven't played her and then just forgotten all her abilities. Oh, and now there's 2 bosses on the screen. There's another jackpot, more money. I will want to compare at the end of this how much money we've made compared to another character. I do wish I had the one pickup that makes you automatically grab coins. There's a few that affect coin stuff. It'll be very nice to have. Cost of enhancing is reduced by 20%. No. And animals appear 20% more often. That would be nice. Increase haste by 10% and speed by 40%, but reduce max HP. Yeah, get me the upgrade things. Healer is still over here. Die. You can't take bosses down while you're healing them. That is just not a reasonable thing to attempt. Especially because I'm not permanently constantly dishing out damage. I did not see that mob underneath me just walking along the same direction. I did not kill as much as I was hoping for. These armored guys are tanky. There we go, despawned. But it's still taking a super long time to take these guys out. Ugh. Come on. Handbeam. Yeah, it's piercing the whole crowd, so that's probably better for us. Maybe that's a mistake I'm making here. I'm taking the stuff like the L-books and spider cooking, which are all pretty close up, when really I should be focusing on abilities that have range and penetrating power, so that they can go through the entire crowd of enemies and hit the bosses and the healer when I can't reach them directly. Oh dear, that was a bit close. Almost died there. Oh, and here comes the next one. We're not finished with these yet. Two missiles, reduce tackle down. Sure. Take that. What was that shaking? Oh, part of the ceiling caving in. Is that you? Do you do that? Oh dear. Yeah. The situation is getting difficult. Woo! Can one of you go down, please? Surely I've dealt some damage to these guys. How long has this boss been on? I got an achievement last time for having a boss on screen for too long. I might just have to get some damage upgrades before I attempt this stage again. Yeah, I grabbed that. Ah, one of them's down. Beautiful. Now, can I get my pickup, please? Maybe if I survive on that. Alright, money, 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 money. Coins, oh, please. Okay. Cutting it a little close here. Handbeam. Oh, what's in here? Super Idol costume. Reduce special cooldown by 45%. Allows the use of special once more immediately per charge. Wow. Alright, max level Handbeam. The axe would be good to level up as well. Oh, I did not get out of there in time. Alright, good. That one we're fine with. Watch these as well. Mine's helping us stay healed up. Oh, and we killed the other boss as well. Okay, we're doing better then, aren't we? We're managing to actually take them down. Yeah, upgrade the rocket launcher. Keep our weapon aimed at the big guy. Nope, never mind. Kill the healer. Kill the healer. Oh, oh, no. Got too caught up and wasn't ready to move out of a follow-up attack. And hey, 6k coins. Out of a relatively short run. That's increases the damage by 6% per level. Increases the damage of skills and attacks by 4% per level. All damage and skills and attack. Okay, well, let's take a level of that. That's pretty expensive, so let's take a few of these. Level up faster, gets us stronger faster. Gives the cooldown time of special attacks. Base pickup range. No. I think we'll just leave it at that. Alright, another run, or some gacha. We could pull 5. Who do we want to get? Don't know really. Roller Core maybe? I mean, everyone is the answer. There's I don't know if there's a single character anywhere that I don't want to pick up. Let's roll here. Alright, and there is Ollie and Ollie and Ollie. Half of Sincerity, long/forward, charge rifle, fires an aimed beam initially, then shortly fires a second charge beam. Each target hit by the initial beam increases the size and damage of the second beam. Alright, seems like a good crowd control tool, which most of these specials are. And do I try to learn a new character on the most difficult stage? I forgot. Yes. Okay. I do love characters with swords. Swords are just cool. A surprisingly large amount of 20%. Let's not take spider cooking this time then. Let's grab a glow stick. Yep, swords, for being such a simple thing, I should probably save this discussion for later on when I'm not going to be leveling up every few seconds. Targets can drop Hololive Merch. When picking up Hololive Merch, Ollie takes 5 damage, but heal back the damage after 2 seconds and gain 30% haste and speed for 8 seconds. I'm absolutely going to kill myself with this skill. But I mean, we're gonna try it. Okay. Zombie Ninjutsu. Gather chakra while moving. If Ollie stops moving for 1 second, spend all chakra to cast a 1x strength jutsu based on the accumulated chakra. There's another character that has this mechanic, right? Is it Aki, I think? You gain more bonus the longer you keep moving, some kind of dance thing. And Kiara has an ability, I want to say as well, that's all about you keep moving and when you stop it like dishes out damage. Alright, show me. Ooh! Very nice. Just what? No, this is absolutely not the one to be doing this. Got the glasses. This is absolutely not round to be making things harder for myself, and we're already struggling so much. The axe, yes, that's a nice one for hitting into a whole crowd. Especially once it's leveled up. Yeah, swords I was talking about. Swords, for being a pretty simple object, right? Like it's a blade on a handle. That's kind of the whole bit of a sword. They can look so different to each other, and I think some of them really look a whole lot better than others. If HP reaches 0, Ollie gains undead and cannot die for 10 seconds. However, each time this activates, Ollie loses 50% max HP for 1 minute. Gain 2% attack for every 3 max HP loss. Ah. Hang on, cannot die for 10 seconds with a 10-second cooldown, as in 10 seconds after it like 10 seconds after it ends, I assume, so there is still a way to die permanently. Anyway, that's cool. And good if we're going to be inflicting so much damage on ourselves with all the merch. It does seem to be dropping pretty generously. And as the number of enemies goes up and we finish them off fairly fast, it will only be more and more on the ground. Gain max HP would be good to counteract some of the drain. Oh, we are full up on this again. That's going to be important to try and remember. every now and then I need to stop moving in between. Glow sticks, psychics, food. Should have taken... I don't know if... I think that might have popped up last time on the parkour, but then I definitely should have grabbed it. Yes. Let's get the plug type. That's so cool. I wonder if Fuwamoka are gonna do another special event stream like the one they did where they mimicked the Good Morning stream. Increase attack size and knockback effects by and also increase pickup rate. Yeah. So that was quite funny. The Halloween special thing they did was also very funny. Losing my ability to commentate here. There's a few games of this type that I did think about. Okay, no, he's not healing me, is he? I'm usually fairly high health, so I'm not looking too closely at it. But now that I am, he's definitely just healing the other enemies. Come on. I need to be moving so I can build this up. Upgrade the axe, I think. Maybe I should beam him. Okay. Probably have tried that out earlier so I could learn how it works. Oh, I need to stop picking those up. We do not have the health. So it looks like I want to be waving the first one around, and then... Whoa. That was close. Waving the first one around a bunch, and then... aiming the second one once it's ready. Probably need to try and memorize the timing properly. But we have no health. I don't know why, but oh, we died. Okay, so then does the cooldown start after this ends? No. I was running around thinking that we did have something that was healing us, and I think it's because I was thinking that we still had the abilities from the round before. Let's try Ollie again, but one stage down, I think. Slightly easier, so we can get a proper view of all of her abilities and stuff. I don't think that was a very fair run. I'm not sure who I'm going to use to actually clear that stage, or if it will just be a question of accumulating enough power-ups in the shop to be able to do it. Okay, not bad. Probably try out one of the... Yeah, let's try out a lower level one. Okay, that makes a flame where I'm aiming. It really is just hits more targets and stuff like that the higher I go. Then there won't be any reason to use the lower ones. In this stage, the close range stuff is useful. Okay, let's try this one. Alright, bubble shields. Not as cool as lightning everywhere. The other Survivors-like game I've seen recently was called, I think, Death Must Die? And from what I hear, that one struggles with not really having the depth of content that it needs. Like, the gameplay is alright, which is to be expected for a survival-like game. They're not honestly the most complicated thing to design, really. However, where's that, please? There we go. However, that then means that you do need to be very mindful of what you choose to put in the upgrades, you know? What the actual rest of the game around it looks like. And apparently Deathless Die is lacking in that regard, which very much hurts its replayability. Part of the reason that I want to try out Vampire Survivors is specifically because it seems to have a huge amount of unlockable stuff. Which, this game is decent on the unlocks as well, but a lot of them are like, oh, progress a certain amount in, like, basically make your way through the game, you know, clear stages with characters and you unlock stuff. As opposed to Vampire Survivors, more like, oh, you can do this secret on this map and interact with this stuff, and then you get a reward for it, which is very cool and feels very satisfying for the players. If you don't have that, then that is a problem. I might, if I want to get back into programming, try to make a game like this myself. You know, get some free assets from somewhere, pull up, I don't know what game engine, not Unity anymore, considering some of the garbage they've tried to pull in the not too distant past. I've not really used another game engine, right? I've made some command line games, like a text-based game that was all run through Java. Like, game engine-wise, the only one I've used has been Unity. I imagine it can't be that different to try and use the Unreal Engine or anything like that. Just be a matter of trying it out. There's another one called, depending on who's pronouncing it, either Godot or Godot. That also seems to be very popular recently, it might be worth me checking out. I did a little while ago use Twine, because I was looking at making a little short text adventure thing, and that's pretty cool as well. I ended up scrapping that project because I did not have the time that I felt I would need to dedicate to it to make something worth playing through. But maybe I'll revisit it at some point. Could be a fun stream activity. I want to be careful picking stuff for stream that's interesting and potentially does have the staying power to last a couple of streams, but wouldn't take up so much time that that it starts to dominate. I don't want to only be doing one specific thing on stream. A bit of variety is good. And a big project like making even a text-based game is definitely something that takes up huge amounts of time. The compromise, of course, would always be that I do part of it on stream and part of it off stream. Super Nurse's Home. When defeating a target, there's a 30% chance to lifesteal 8 HP, then a further 5% of max HP. If taking a hit while HP is less than 15%, there's also a chance to heal 30%. Nice. I love getting special items. Especially healing items when we're doing all this stuff. Taking damage from our own abilities. Yeah, sure, level that up further. This feels really strong. I think if I'd played the last map better, we definitely could have cleared it with Ollie. Ollie's kind of getting her status as most deranged, thirsty Hololive member taken away by Gigi recently. Some of the clips I've been seeing coming out of the Minecraft collabs have been something to behold, truly. I'm actually not subscribed to her. I haven't been watching her streams, I've just been watching the clips, because she mostly hasn't been playing games I've been interested in, but I might go and change that, considering just how funny the stuff I've been seeing has been. I did at first try to subscribe to like all the Hololive girls because I found them all fairly interesting, even if I wasn't necessarily watching a specific member's content, but eventually my subscription box was so severely clogged up with stuff, with live streams day in day out from how many members does Hololive have now? A lot, that I just had to unsubscribe from a few people. I ended up staying subscribed only to the ones that I actually tune in live for every now and then, which is a very small number. I was also subscribed to a bunch of the Japanese members for a long time because I enjoyed their music, but again, it doesn't come out often enough that I can really justify that. Okay. Kinda got cornered here. Ooh. Oh, that did not kill them. I was really hoping it would. Oh, there's something to pick up back in that direction, but it's these guys. I feel like I'm really not having the damage output that I had before. Ooh. Okay, let's work towards a knockback effect on the spider cookie. And we immediately died again. What just happened there? Oh, I only have like 18 max health, so if I get grazed by someone, I'm dead. Oh, come on. Gotta really focus here if I want to survive this. Oh. I'm thinking about trying out some other games outside of my usual wheelhouse. Because I played Hades and like liked it, but not sure if it's something else I want to continue playing on stream. It was fun, but we didn't really get to see enough of like the characters and stuff for me to be hooked in. Okay, let's stand still while I've got the immortality. Get that special hit off. Get that. Your moments encrypt every 10% up to 10%, but if you take damage by a target, lose half the buff. Eating food plus that. Well, no, that's. I think that might be the first time I've ever just not picked up an item. We couldn't quite do it. Oh well, another 1400 coins. Let's go in with Cora again, and this time a stage down. Or maybe try someone else out. Need a spread of feathers in front and back. Punches. Some daggers that fly forward. And it transforms into a living dagger, becoming invincible for 10 seconds and deals constant damage to any targets in her path. Sure, let's try that out. Let's stick to that, this, and... But once again, first time trying the character, we want to give them the opportunity to try their best. We go to the hardest stage. According to the game itself, we've got the upgrades we need to be able to clear it, so it is entirely a skill issue. We're not moving for over 1 second, reduce all target speed by 75%. Then, every 2 seconds, Anya heals 9% HP and gains 10 stacks of resting, which reduces damage taken by 5% but also reduces all damage dealt by 7% each. After waking up, Anya cannot sleep again for 2 seconds. Ha! Okay, hang on, I need to get some distance. Oh, that's fascinating. the standstill character. I kind of need something to help with the pickup range if I'm doing this. Maybe I should just wait for them to get a little closer before stabbing. Oh dear, we might have let them get too close. And now everyone gets back to full speed again. Twitch has managed to upgrade or update its auto mod. It managed to catch the bot this time. I'm still going to go over here and ban it so that Twitch knows they got it right. Okay, ooh. Well, that was the absolute worst showing I've ever put forward in this game. Okay. Now we know what her basic ability is. Let's take a moment to grab some upgrades and then try the standing still again. I slowed myself down a minute ago by trying that too early and then not having any actual abilities to back it up with. This time we're going to go through. Yeah, defeating targets may grant 1 stack of Sharpen, max 50. Every 10 stacks increase attack by 5% and creates a sharp aura which deals 60% damage. 60% damage per 10 stacks to targets. When hit, Anya loses 5 stacks. Okay, body pillow probably good for this character then. I've not really done enough yet on Twitch or YouTube, I think, to base abilities off, but I would be very curious what somebody would design as my powers, given the chance. Yeah, spider cooking I think is good here. Lava bucket, probably not. Bomb, probably not. I actually want to keep moving to make sure that ability doesn't kick in. Increases pickup range by 20%, yes. If a target is within Anya's pickup range, melee weapons have a chance to cause targets to become glitched and may take 1 or 2 extra hits per attack. Okay. Take that. Does the knife count as a melee weapon? I don't think I've seen a tag anywhere being like, this is melee, this is not. Okay, our pickup range is still fairly short. A few ways to upgrade that, which we'll have to look into. I'm still not confident standing still yet. I feel like we want to have stuff basically maxed out before we do that, right? Like we want to have every slot filled in, even if not fully upgraded. So quite a bit more levels to go before we're ready for that. It might be difficult on this map to a certain extent because of all of those abilities that are like, oh, we're gonna hit you with this AoE. Depends on how well we can tank. We do get a damage reduction from one of the abilities, I think. In fact, it might be the standstill ability that gives us the damage reduction. Oh, that was you teleporting in. I don't know if that would hurt us, them dropping down, if they've got like a ground pound kind of thing. Okay, come on, give me more weapons. I want a bigger variety, not upgrades of the ones that I've already got. That's not super helpful right now. We also desperately need, like, Nurse's Horns for this build. Okay. Let's try this out, shall we? And reduce damage taken by 25% and speed by 10%. When attacked, has a 50% chance the attack also takes 200% damage. Yes, that's actually great on us. Keeper Sheep, no. Reduce special cooldown, no. Pickup range, yes. What's in here? Or breastplate. Here, upgrade. The spider cooking. Cool, now destroy everything. This is fantastic. Feels great. Very fun ability. Ooh, bat swarms. Okay. All stuff for things we've already got. Sure, increase area. What else would I particularly like here? BBL books would be very good. Oh, there's the healer. Super chat time. All holo coins are picked up automatically. That's good. Oh, horns. Okay, I cannot turn down the chance for horns. I'd love the other ability, but the horns are like one of the abilities that will actually make this build function. So we've gotta take those. Am I ready at this point to try standing still? There's body pillow as well, which I wanted. I'm still only on 2 weapons though, which doesn't feel great. We are dishing, I think, a whole lot more damage than we were before. We're certainly in a better position. Slight bit of damage there. Let's see what we can do to this guy. And if the answer is not enough, then, well, we hit this. Oh, I think actually the stand still ability stayed triggered while we were in our ult form. That's interesting. More spider cooking. Okay, you're getting a little close there. You want to back up? You want to back up, maybe? Thank you. Energy drink. Haste, no, that doesn't do anything for us. Distance traveled, we want to stand still, is what we're trying to go for here. Axe. Not my top pick, but we'll take anything at this point. We need to just actually have a weapon. Alright, trying this again. We're getting stacks of this. We are killing everything that gets close. I wonder how this affects the mathematics of the balancing here. Because enemies moving in slower does mean that we are going to be like seeing and interacting with less enemies overall. Okay, this is getting a little dicey. I think it might still be too early to have this sack. Okay, some knockback. It's doing minimal to any of them. We don't seem to be dying in the middle of this. The body pillar's going down. We're not into the health yet. We're still... okay, we're into health. A little bit. Body pillar's back up. Shield is active again. We're still mostly deflecting. Alright. We're hanging in there. I think we can keep this up. Okay, I'll aim away, let some people get closer so that they're within pickup range. Mostly the spider cooking seems to be succeeding in keeping them off our back. I might even take my hand off the keyboard and have a sip real quick. What is different here from level 1 to 2? 25% when never using something. So this should have gone up and this should have gone down, I suppose? Attack damage is multiplied by 1.2 times, but lose 20% crit chance. So we're not really critting to begin with. Let's upgrade this. Right, I think we've got it. Maybe. Put my finger ready on the shift key just in case I need it. I can see a little green line moving over me. There's one of the healers over to the side. Okay, the boss is on top of us, so let's trigger this. And yeah, I can activate this and stay in place. That's fantastic. Please die before it ends. Nope, okay. Now things get difficult. You've been forced by the boss to move. Very well. A worthy opponent. Ah, Beelzebub's nice. The one other ability I actually really wanted. I might reconsider actually taking the lava bucket. I think if they're all crowding around us like that, it actually would work. Possibly the hollow bomb as well. The plug type as a corporal and the fan beam probably not so good for this. Okay, what do I do here? What gets us out of here? Use max HP after being hit. Heal 10% every hit. I don't really want to take a slot up on this, but maybe it gets us out of here. Ugh. Okay, we slipped past there. Keep moving, be a bit more careful now. I have to kill either the healer or the boss before we can even think about sitting still again. And ideally we kill the boss quickly, because if not, the next one's gonna spawn and then we're a different type of screwed again. Upgrade the book. Keep this up. Another one, really? Come on. Kill that guy. Ugh. Damage but lose the crit chance. 30% damage, yeah. Come on. Oh, this is active again. Let's hit both of these as much as we can. Actually, kill the healer. Okay. Alright, we gotta be careful when coming out of our ult ability. But that dropped and then I immediately proceeded to take some damage. Yeah, lava bucket, another weapon. Barely, if at all, upgraded the Karas, which is unfortunate. It might be like Mume's, where it gains some huge benefit upon reaching max level. It shall be a while before I can figure that out. Okay, one is down. Get this. I don't think I can afford to come to a stop yet, no. Ugh. Okay, break through the line here. Try to avoid getting hit by as many of these as possible. Reduce damage taken and speed. Attack gain... okay, no, but I'm pretty sure the numbers with colours are the ones that change, so we're not going to reduce damage taken any further. 2% machine for every 6 points of total max HP. Can increase damage of main weapon and special attacks. Yeah. Gives us more buffer for not dying when we're standing still. In here we've got level 2 lava bucket. Okay, trying again. The knockback's helping, we're keeping them at bay. Keep throwing knives in that direction. We can also hit shift if need be, but I'll save it for now. Okay, we took him down. Glow stick. Yeah, well, bomb might be better to end up with. We'll upgrade lava bucket. Okay, now here's an unfortunate thing. I can't pick that up because I need to... okay. Let's move over. Grab this. Take. And kill as much as we possibly can. 1% crit buff everything up to 10% will put us to 21 since we haven't taken the other thing. Yeah. Do this. Murder, murder, murder. And then here, nice open space so that we've got lots of directions to run in if we need to. Now then, once again. Oh look, they cast shadows when they get close to the light sun there. That's neat. Let them all wander in close, let our abilities passively kill them. Right, you. How much damage does he dish out with his special ability? That one won't hit us. This will. That went straight through our shield and into the health bar. How bad does this hurt? Not super bad. We're actually doing okay here. Any max HP? Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely deep into HP here. Damn. I waited a second too long to move. A second too long. Unfortunate. Who else can we capture for? We've got enough for well, not even 5 pulls. Hoomst owls. I want to roll for all of them, basically. Here. 4 rolls. Let's see who we get. Okay, well I think we're going to play as yeah. That seems to be a sign as far as I can tell. Let's read both of their abilities. Fires a quick magic bolt in front, jumps high in the air, becoming invincible for 3 seconds, then falls down and deals 1500% damage to all targets around. Slash twice in front, increase the attack speed of dual katana by 200%. After 4 seconds, the spirit slashes the screen, dealing 1000% damage to all targets. Alright, we've got 60 HP, 1.3 attack, 1.3 speed, 10% crit. Let's go. Once again, challenging this stage. We'll dual slash with the 2 weapons. I think if I'm not mistaken, her weapons are named, right? Like each sword has a name. Defeating a target that has been hit by dual katana will increase haste by 1%, max 20, but decreases by 1% every second. Okay. So we get faster the more we kill. Will get more difficult to keep up later on. Necurium, increase speed by 3%, max 40% for every target within 120 pixels. Target is defeated within 120 pixels, they drop 10% bonus XP. Alright. So we're fast. Increase max HP by 10. Lose crit chance, we do have 16% crit chance. Let's see what more skills there might be before we decide on what weapons would be suitable. I'm not really sure here. I suppose if we're killing things nearby, then like spider cooking BL books as usual. After taking 5 hits of damage, negate the next hit taken and become invincible for 3 seconds. There's a 10-second cooldown after the buff ends. Alright. Because we want to be up close, sure. Resize, Psycho Axe, drop food, anvils appear more often. Just make the swords better. Ooh. Okay, we're level 6 and we haven't actually taken any other thing. Let's just twice behind. Speed, Gnosis Thorn is very good if we're going to be taking damage. Also spider cooking. I think I need a weapon before anything else. Body pillow. Now we'll focus on max health this time around, I think. Use fan spawns? No, not something we want. The area for our XP boost. is larger than the area for spider cooking, which is good. That's just twice behind. Bomb. I don't know. So, spider cooking, Bialbook, and what do we fill the last three with? I do believe there's more weapons that we can still unlock. I mean, Bomb, if I just stick near it, then there's no issue with that. Right, we can just hang around in one spot mostly. Will only work so well against the bosses. All healing is doubled. Nah. I'll take my next level with this. More XP is huge. Not the single greatest thing, but very good. Okay, that deals a tiny bit of damage if you stay in the red area when he lands, but it's not a huge amount. It mostly seems to be just a warning that he's incoming, not that you need to get out of the effect. More bomb, lava bucket, yeah. Reduce special cooldown, nah, give me more lava bucket. In here, spider cooking, it's good. I think I talked about this on the stream before, but I'm looking into playing more roguelikes. I think they're very suitable games for a stream because you can just do a couple runs and then put the game down. And it doesn't have the issue of a longer game of going unfinished. And oh, more max HP. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't have the issues of a longer game where it might go unfinished, and is suitable for streams that you can just do a round or two and then be done. But it's something that you can bring in to fit your stream schedule instead of scheduling streams to fit what you need to still get done game-wise, which is a little silly. Very inconvenient having to think about how much time you need to dedicate across several weeks potentially to get through an entire game. You know, I would never play something like Skyrim or some big RPG game on stream. At least not unless I was doing some funny challenge or whatever, because that's just way too huge. Like, what a time commitment. Activate this now while I'm in a tiny bit of trouble so I can get an idea of how it works. Before later on when we really need it. Okay, I really need, right now, a healing ability. We are struggling a little on our 36 out of 99 health. Is 99 the highest that my max health has ever been? I don't think it's the highest, but I do think it's very high. Like, come on. How much health do you have? A lot is apparently the answer. I think a health bar over the bosses would really help a lot. I get why it isn't there, but just having some idea of how much other dent I'm actually putting into them would be super useful. Alright, I gotta lead this pack off around. Brings in chance to negate one hit, sure. Good enough upgrade. Right, keep running around. We are about to die. This area. increase frequency of hits. I'm on a sliver of health. I need to kill stuff to level up so I can get a healing item. There we go. Alright, I think the simple conclusion to be taken from today's extremely poor showing is that I'm simply not upgraded enough to be taking on that level yet. So next time around we're gonna drop back down one, I think. At any rate, that's been a quick, relaxed Friday stream. Just chilling a little, enjoying a few games to end off the week with. I've got some more work to do over the weekend for the next episode of the Royal Road Report. That should be coming out on Sunday again. Still need to rearrange some stuff in my schedule so that I'm uploading videos on a Friday, not on the weekend, when I should be taking time off. The last episode did alright views-wise. I think the first one, the second one and third one really benefited from me advertising it on Royal Road forums for the first time. Episode 4, I mean, it's also Pokemon themed, so that's maybe a little more niche than the other stuff I'm doing. I will be spending some time tomorrow creating images for the thumbnails. I've set up my model to function in VR chat, so I'm gonna like pull out some emotes and stuff and do funny memes. I found a world that has a blue screen because I can't use a green screen. If I green screen now, I'm gonna be missing my shirt, my hair, my sclera. Very unfortunate, so I gotta find blue screens to do that with instead. I've actually got my recording scene and Streamlabs set up as well with a blue tinted background so that I can chroma key that out for the videos. At any rate, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this stream, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.